Hey guys, welcome to week 141 of the Super Mario World Romhack Races. This week's level is Helper Block by Quiet Mason. It's rated a 7 out of 10 on difficulty, and will be the first time I've played a level that's rated that high. I'm super glad that it had a consistent theme and a title that hinted at the proper solutions, because that helped a lot. Let's go ahead and get started. Once again, I have made a level that is harder than I thought it was. Good luck. Yeah, it's pretty hard. Helper Block. It's the first time I'm actually seeing the title for this level. And, it's very hard to get up on top of this block. You can just jump straight to it from the platform that you start on, but what's easier is to jump up over to the left and go from there. That helper block, I wind up using it over and over again through the whole level, and it just barely gets low enough where you can spin onto it from that shell there. This was the first strategy that I saw that was able to get me on top of that Rex, but I don't think that it overall would have worked because it spawns in the top Rex a little too early. It has to be in the right spot so you can spin jump off of the Rex that falls down and get on top of that piranha plant that's over on the right side. And I thought what I would need to do here is jump on the Koopa and kick the naked Koopa over to the right to be able to jump off of him, but you can't do that in Mario World. Mario Maker has poisoned me to think that that's possible. Instead, what you have to do there is bounce off of that Koopa twice and just re-grab your way over to getting onto the helper block. And what that lets you do, and it's the whole reason that there is a blue coin there, it lets you change from a normal jump into a spin jump. And that helps with the next little bit, because you need to spin through those Koopas to be able to get onto the bottom platform. Now, that was very, very tough for me to do. I just barely got around to the left side to be able to spin through that green Koopa to be able to get on the platform in the bottom. What I wound up doing instead that was more reliable was again using the helper block to change my jump from a spin to a normal bounce. Just bounce off the green Koopa onto the platform on the bottom. Now again, I'm using that helper block, and that's the whole point of the level. Switch over to a normal bounce, trying to bounce over from those Koopas down to the Chuck. And at this point, I'm thinking that I'm going to go down to the Chuck, bounce off him to the right, and continue with more of the section. Now that I'm finally getting down next to the Chuck, I can see more over to the right of him. It's just a blank empty space. So I know that I'm going to have to get into that pipe, and that's going to be the end of this section. The trouble is that the only way that there is to get inside of that pipe is again to rely on the helper block. And I'm trying there to bounce off of the Chuck twice and just land on the block again. But instead of doing a big bounce, what works out a lot better is small bounces. And even though only Mario's forehead was touching the pipe there, it's enough to let you get in the pipe. When you see the purple coin, stand flush with the glass block, then drop the shell. It'll warp up to the purple coin position. Profit. None of that made any sense to me at all when I first read it. I had to come back to it and read it again later, once I actually saw the purple coin that it was talking about. So you have to spin on that shell just to save the bottom helper block, and then you have to immediately go up, bounce off that blue Koopa, and get on the top one. Me and that top block didn't get along very well. It wound up not being there for me when I needed it most. I'm actually not sure what the story is with that shell that's on top of those turn blocks. It's a gray shell, which means that you should be able to bounce off of it twice. but it changes to green as soon as you hit the turn block. Now I've seen the purple coin. I know that I need to use it here. You just drop it and it goes on top. Once it's on top, you can see there's the other shell that's set up right in front of it. I don't know why my first instinct was to jump into it and grab it like a dummy, but you spin through both of them to get down to the bottom. The first thing that I try to do once I get down there is just ride that bottom helper block, because it just means I don't have to do any jumping. But riding it makes it so that I'm too slow to get into that next section to actually get anywhere. So instead what I have to do is go down, jump immediately over here, and now I can actually do stuff. But I'm a little bit late to get onto that red Koopa on the left side. I can tell I need to bounce off the red Koopa and then over to the green Koopa, and I'm just assuming that there's going to be something else that I can see later on to let me get further forward. So now I can see that pipe in the bottom right corner, and even though I jumped up and hit that hidden block, the helper block, I can tell it's flying just barely high enough that I can jump up through the hidden block without hitting it. So that's exactly what I do. And from there, it's just as simple as going in the pipe. So there's a message box here, and I'm desperate to go over and hit it, and I wind up bonking into that little cloud down there, which turns out to be a shell. It tells me to do a midair. I'm actually just trying to jump off and die so I can attempt it. And there's a hidden floor, so I'm able to beat the level, even though obviously I don't do a midair. Now, a midair shell jump, they are a possible trick to do. I have never done one myself. I kind of had a hunch that they weren't actually going to require one in the Romhack race because it is so incredibly difficult to pull off that trick. My time this week was a blistering 1 hour, 56 minutes, and 42 seconds. I was 7th out of the 10 players who finished, and this was definitely a step up in difficulty from the last few weeks, so I'm actually pretty happy with my time here. I'm going to keep putting out more of these videos showing my part of the Romhack race every week. Please subscribe if you'd like to see more. You can find me on Twitch. My link is down in the description of this video.
It's over!